Welcome families to Riverdale High School's grade level night. In a moment, you're going to hear from our registrar and our school counselors on a variety of topics, from how to make a schedule change to graduation requirements to how to successfully transition into college and career. Please watch through all of the information and join us on the scheduled grade level night. I'll have a brief presentation followed by time for you to ask questions of myself, Ms. Wright, Mr. Call, and Mr. Lavorne. Until then, I look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Call, and I'm the school counselor at Riverdale High School. The Riverdale Diploma requires a total of 28 credits broken down into subject requirements on this table. The Oregon Standard Diploma requires 4 fewer credits at 24 total. The Riverdale Diploma requires 1 credit more of math, science, social studies, and requires that students take 2 credits of a foreign language, which is not required for the Oregon Diploma. The Riverdale Diploma also requires 90 hours of community service, and both diplomas require the extended application of student skills, the development of a personal education plan, and passing state-required essential skills where students demonstrate proficiency in reading, writing, and math. This requirement may be waived by the state because of our current context, but we are proceeding as if the requirement stands to make sure our students are ready. The Riverdale Diploma prepares our students to be strong college applicants. The minimum entry requirements for the Oregon University system are exceeded by the Riverdale Diploma. Students who receive the Oregon Diploma can still be strong college applicants, although it should be noted that the Oregon Diploma does not require a world language credit, and the entry requirements for the Oregon University system does require 2 credits of world language, listed as a second language in the graphic on the right. Personal education plans, or PEPs, are developed over the course of a student's entire high school career. We are making improvements to PEPs. Each student will make a 4-year graduation plan, which includes taking rigorous courses, exploring personal interests, staying on track to graduate, and planning out their courses. Service learning planning includes finding opportunities for volunteering and tracking those hours towards graduation requirements. College and career exploration seeks to align a student's high school experiences with their post-secondary aspirations. We also make individualized considerations to allow for important nuance and self-direction, which can include independent studies, internships, external courses, and other details specific to each student. PEPs also document extracurricular activities and accomplishments. Now, real quick, let's take a look at the required 4-year course sequence. This is the typical 4-year course sequence for a Riverdale student. Each year has 3 trimesters. Students take 5 classes each trimester. Each class is worth half a credit. A student can earn 7.5 credits per year. Over 4 years, that's 30 credits, which is 2 more than the required 28 for the Riverdale Diploma. Following the typical 4-year course sequence will keep students on track to be competitive college applicants, especially because the Riverdale Diploma has increased core class requirements. A grad check is the process of determining if a student is on track to graduate and earn their diploma. The most thorough planning and grad checks occur at the end of 10th grade and the middle of 11th grade. On the top right of the grad check is a table which notes what type of diploma a student is pursuing, the number of credits required for each subject area, the number of credits they've already completed, the number of credits that are a work in progress, marked WIP in the form, and it includes the number of credits that remain incomplete. The work in progress credits are counted on the assumption that a student will pass their classes. Below the credit summary, a student's completed service learning hours are documented. 90 hours are required to graduate. In this table, you can see the GPA points that are earned by each grade. A student's GPA is equal to the number of GPA points they earn divided by the number of letter grade classes. A P means a student passed the class. An I means the class remains incomplete. The honors options at Riverdale High School begin with an honors contract for each class for which a student wants to pursue honors. Successful completion of the honors option will be reflected in report cards and transcripts. For example, a student who earns an A and earns honors credit will have the grade AH. There is no penalty for a student who enters into the honors contract and does not complete the requirements, nor is that result displayed on report cards or transcripts. If a student wishes to drop honors, they are asked to do so within the first 5 weeks of the start of the term. Senior Exhibition, which fulfills the extended application requirement for graduation, is a capstone project for 12th grade students that combines research, writing, and presentation skills with experiential learning, including multiple phases of development and revision. Senior Exhibition is a year-long project that results in a comprehensive thesis and oral presentation to the community. Ninth grade students get early access to these projects as audience members during the project development towards its final iteration, providing feedback to the seniors. Because more time is dedicated to advisory this year, we will cover a variety of topics. It will consist of college and career exploration, including identifying personal interests, skills, good matches, and career-related learning experiences, or CURLEs, which are universal work skills like writing a resume and interviewing. Advisory also includes personal education planning, or PEPs, which we've discussed previously. Additionally, advisory includes social emotional learning, which is delivered through community building, personal reflections and skill building, and interpersonal skill building. There will also be other events, such as assemblies, grade level meetings, and other activities. Riverdale High School has a lot of clubs, which are a great way to get connected to other students and staff. Because of our current context, some of these clubs may not yet be active, but updates are coming soon. I also want to talk about what my role as a school counselor is and what it is not. I can provide basic mental health support to students, which includes listening to them, problem solving, and building some basic skills that are good for everybody. I do not conduct therapy, although I can help students and families get connected to professional mental health counseling services. I will also note that I am bound by confidentiality, meaning that I respect the privacy of students unless I am worried about safety, past, present, or future.
Hi there, I'm Cheryl Wright. I'm the administrative assistant to the principal, Mr. Flannery, and the registrar. I don't know about you guys, but all these virtual meetings and videos make me a little nervous, so please bear with me. I've already done several takes, and this one's going to have hiccups as well. The first thing I'm going to talk about is scheduling. How does a student get a schedule each year? That begins with forecasting. We forecast each spring. Prior to forecasting, students will engage in activities that help to prepare them for forecasting. We then encourage students and their families to sit together when forecasting opens. Core classes such as science, English, and history are grade level specific. Students will not forecast for those. Math and foreign language are determined on prior coursework completed. One of the questions I often get is, I think my schedule is wrong. I think I might be missing a class. Where's my English class? We have a schedule change request form that's online. Schedule changes are processed in the order and the priority that they're received. I open up the scheduling change 2 weeks prior to each trimester beginning and close it at the end of 2 weeks. Now, most schedule changes are all processed before the trimester begins. We certainly have most students all tucked into classes by the 3rd day of each trimester. Okay, now I'm going to talk a little bit about transcripts. Transcripts are a record of the student's grade. And the final grades are posted at the end of each trimester. Progress grades are not on the transcript. And students may request their transcripts at any time. Simply email me. Prior schools credits. This is a question that I often get. What do I mean by prior schools credits? If you transferred to Riverdale from another high school, not to worry, we will request those records and we'll transcribe those onto your Riverdale transcript. If you took a high school equivalent course in middle school and the course is labeled as high school credit, we will give you credit. Outside credits. What do I mean by outside credits? If you've completed work outside of Riverdale, example, summer school, online course, or college courses. How do you get those on your Riverdale transcript? Request an official transcript. Have it sent to my attention, have it sent to my email. So many things are done electronically these days. And remember, before considering doing any coursework outside of Riverdale, work with your counselor, Mr. Call. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Robert Lavorne, and I'm the college counselor at Riverdale High School. I just want to take a few minutes of your time tonight to talk about a few things that connect with college and career preparation, specifically as it relates to 11th and 12th grade. If you have any questions about college applications and the process itself, I recommend you watch my video from College Nights, during which I walked students and parents through the application process itself. Let's get to it. As mentioned in that video, there are generally two waves of college applications. So wave one is that early action and early decision deadline that is typically on November 1st or November 15th. Wave two then is regular and rolling decision, which is generally in January and February. The rolling decision obviously goes all throughout the school year and into the summer, though it's usually best to get those applications in, even though there isn't a requirement to do so, a little bit earlier. After those applications are submitted, seniors get a break until the month leading up to National College Decision Day, which is on May 1st. So generally, schools will start to let students know whether they've been accepted in the month prior to that date, sometimes a little bit earlier. If you applied through early action or early decision, you likely found out in December even. But May 1st is that next big deadline for students. The date is subject to change. This year, because of COVID, many colleges pushed that deadline back to June, but there were still colleges that required decisions by May 1st. So it's probably best to plan on having a decision by then. And if your college has changed that date, then you can take a little longer to make up your mind if needed. During that waiting period and when students are making decisions, I'm always available to talk about schools, majors, financial aid, or any other concern that a student may have. But that wave one is the relevant date for our junior class because it's after that time that the junior application process really starts to begin. So sometime between December and March, juniors and their families should make an appointment with me to discuss their college and career plans. In many cases, I'm meeting with juniors and their families 2, 3, 4 times during that time as well. I'm happy to meet with you as often as you need and to provide as much guidance as you need through that process there. So don't think you're limited to just one time by any stretch. Kelsey Call and I will also be using advisory to help juniors begin exploring different options. We really want to get our seniors involved in this process this year, as many of them will have a unique perspective about the process, given that they just finished applying. So we think advisory is probably one of the best avenues in order to get them involved in that and to help juniors get an early start on things. I also plan on designing and hosting a fairly comprehensive college essay bootcamp this spring or right before summer that will set all our juniors up for success insofar as it comes to the college essays and supplementals. So once juniors go into the summer, we would really like them to do so with a tentative list of schools and a good idea of what to write about in their essays. The more work they're able to get done over the summer, the less stressful trimester 1 of senior year will be. As seniors will tell you today, it is stressful with all the coursework that they're required to do in getting those applications in. So getting a head start in that process is just going to make things all easier. A question on everybody's mind. As you likely know, the standardized testing scene is very complicated right now, and our recommendations will likely change as the year or years go on. But I do want to note that despite a lack of familiarity with the testing format, Riverdale students perform quite well on standardized tests. Last year alone, approximately 60% of Riverdale juniors scored in the 80th percentile or better on the PSAT with very little to no preparation, very little for most students there. Even with many schools going test optional or test blind, it still makes sense for students to plan on taking the tests, assuming that they can do so safely. And for juniors, then, the best test date to target right now is likely sometime in the spring or early summer. It's really hard to find a place that is offering the test right now. So October, November, and December are likely going to be difficult just because of test closures due to COVID and the like. So the likelihood of having a March test date or a June test date, it's much more likely in that type of situation, though it's obviously subject to change given where we are at that time. There are also a number of other tests that students want to keep in mind. We hope to offer the PSAT on January 26th. This will be a qualifying test for national merit who recognizes juniors who score in the top 3% of test takers. Generally, the PSAT is offered in October, but this year College Board has added a January test date because of everything going on. And we do hope that we're able to offer that. Obviously, that's contingent on whether we're allowed back in the building and the like there. But January 26th is the date that we are targeting for the PSAT. We also provide the opportunity for students to take AP tests that connect with our coursework, and we encourage and assist students as they independently prepare for tests and subjects we do not offer. So a survey is going to go out to student email accounts soon, asking for them to indicate interest in taking certain AP tests this year. Once students indicate any tests in which they're interested, they can also come to talk with me or Sarah Hansen about what preparation for that test would look like. The first week of November, then, we'll register students to take the tests. There is still the option to register late, but it does mean incurring a late fee. So just to be clear, indicating interest in that survey in early October does not mean that you're necessarily taking the test this year or in years to come. It is just simply a way to tell us that you're interested so that we can start the conversation so you know what preparation for that test would actually look like should you decide to take it. And then when we actually do register in November and you sign up, at that point, you will be registered for the test and expected to take it. It's becoming less and less common at schools, but SAT subject tests are still required in some places. So if those tests are needed, it's probably best to hold off until summer before senior year. This goes for any time, not just this COVID time as well. I typically tell students to hold off on taking those subject tests until a little bit later in their high school career. So June is usually a good time to target. If you don't know what the SAT subject tests are, don't worry about them. They are not required at most schools, and most schools don't even want to look at them. But there are still some elite colleges that do require those SAT subject tests or do recommend that students submit them. Lastly, in the spring, we will coordinate with students to help them find other opportunities outside of any extracurriculars in which they already participate. And we'll have a better idea of where we are in terms of COVID as the summer approaches. So that'll help us make some recommendations for students during this unique time. Outside of that, pre-college programs are a great way for students to pursue a particular course of study, as well as experience in some way what college will be like. But you don't need to fly across the country or attend an expensive program for pre-college. There are great local options available at places such as PCC and Oregon State University. And I would expect many of those pre-college programs will be virtual next summer as well. That's all for me today. I look forward to answering any questions that you may have. As I said, that college video is up for you to pull up if you have questions about the application process itself. Otherwise, feel free to ask any questions that you think are relevant. Thanks.